Dandavat Pranam. Radhe Radhe. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Mandir, Shri Vrindavana Dham. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga ki jai, Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Akshay Tritiya ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Dandavat Pranam all Vaishnavas. So we will begin with Mangalacarana. Mangalacarana is the auspicious invocation, invoking the presence, the grace, the blessings, the sidelong glances of our beloved Gurudev, our beloved Srila Prabhupada, all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, going all the way back to the original Guru who is Krishna himself, and his Guru of Prem, Srimati Radhika. As Krishna says, Radhikar Guru Prema Amishishyanata. Radhika is my Guru of Prem and I'm simply her dancing pupil. She makes me dance according to her tune. So we will call out to all of these divine personalities for their mercy, starting with the words Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Kamalam, found in this beautiful bhajan treasure trove, Shri Gaudiya Giti Gucha, page 1. Also, Jiva Pavana Prabhu has already posted. So if you don't have this Shri Gaudiya Gita Gucha, then you may just refer to Jiva Pavana Prabhu, and there, in his posts, all of your desires will be fulfilled. Vancha kalpattaru vyascha. Yes, we are celebrating Akshay Tritiya. Not like a big celebration, but certain adjustments, resolutions, because it is said that whatever you set your heart on this day, whatever path you embark on, especially when it is spiritual or devotional, you will be successful. So I am hoping and praying that some increase in development of devotion to Sri Guru and in the depth of Harinam might take place in my life. Also, I don't know if you've seen, but they posted a request from Audio Seva to the devotees at large that they've got probably thousands and thousands of more lectures of our Srila Gurudev that need to be, properly fixed so that you can hear them nicely. Otherwise, they're almost impossible to hear. And so that whole process is quite costly. But I have firm faith that it is a very extremely important service, not only for now and for Gurudev's direct disciples, but for all future generations to be able to have access to these in a decent quality, that we can be able to take refuge in these teachings and these instructions. As our Srila Gurudev has told, maybe they don't know now, but one day everyone will understand. So when a personality of that caliber has said something like that, we've seen in the past when Bhaktivinoda Thakur has made predictions, or when our Srila Prabhupada has made predictions, or when any of our transcendental Guru Varga have made predictions, it does come to pass. It must. And if we don't see it happen, Krishna will be bound to one day make it happen, because he is bound by his devotees' love. So we will see in the future the teachings of our Gurudev as a shining beacon, a light of hope in this world. And that doesn't exclude the teachings of any of our other acharyas like Srila Prabhupada. Definitely, most definitely, that is already a shining, brilliant beacon of hope for millions and millions in this world. But the point I was making is that they need help toward compiling and presenting these. So I also request that if any of you have some extra cash lying around, maybe in your bank account, that you might want to also assist in that seva. It is Vani seva and it is very important. So we'll speak a little bit about Akshaya Tritiya and then we will continue with Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. So, page 1, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. Maybe someone can post a link here to that post of the audio seva where you can donate if you are feeling inspired. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Shrimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaischa Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvang Shirashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padabjadataika Hriddi Chaitanya Leela Amrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvang Satatam Prapadye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Gaura Preshthaya Bhutale Shri Shrimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Yutti Namine Ati Martya Charitraya Svashritanancha Paline Jiva Dukhe Sadartaya Shri Nama Premadayine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Yati Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnano Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dhvantaharine Namo Gaur Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Sambodhe Padambu Jayate Namaha Namo bhakti minodaya Satchiranandanamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavvarayate Gauravirbhava Bhumestvang Nirdeshta Sajanapriya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jaganathayate Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantho Radha Kanthan Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatang Surato Pangur Mama Mandam Matergati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Shrimad Ratnagara Singhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Shri Lagovinda Devo Presthali Bhisevyamano Smarami Shrimanra Sarasarambhi Vangshivatattatastitaha Karshan Menu Swanar Gopir Gopinatha Shri Estunaha Vrindaye Tulasi Devyai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritashvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nama Harer Nama Harer Nama Eva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiran Yatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Tannava Pranam all Vaishnavas. Definitely it was there, Sonam. Radhe Radhe. Somehow they don't always allow you to go right back up to the very first comments posted. I don't understand why. One thing, before I forget, also there's going to be a birthday flower shower today for someone who is not able to watch it this with us, but a good friend of ours from a long time, Radhika Ahuja. It's her birthday today. So we'll do a birthday flower shower at the end. Also, I don't know if you've seen it. Isha Thakurani posted it previously. Is she here? Dandavat Pranam. I think I saw her name earlier. There she is. So she posted about this 108 Harinam Sankirtans simultaneous around the world for Akshaya Tritiya. And so many different beautiful programs are going on to take advantage of the potency of this day and this time. It is a time for change. It is a time for adjustment. It is a time for, you can say, spiritual revolution. And the revolution doesn't need to just be external. It has to start here and then manifest outwardly. If it's only manifesting outwardly, it won't be as potent. But if it starts from inside and then manifests, then so much potency and power will be there. As Mahaprabhu has said, apni achar, what you yourself are following and practicing, then this can be properly preached. It will have effect. So that does not mean that one should not go out on Harinam Sankirtan, Nagar Sankirtan. So there's going to be 108 simultaneous ones. There's a beautiful short promotional video that was made to help inspire the devotees in this Nagar Sankirtan. So if anyone would like to post a link to that here also, it's Isha Thakurani or anyone else who has it, then you may do so. Okay, so now we're going to call out for the mercy of Shri Guru in the form of Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, page 359 in our Shri Gaudiya Giti Guccha, or whatever Jiva Pavana Prabhu posts. You will find it there. He posts the bhajans with their translations and the commentaries of our acharyas. So just scroll to his most recent post and you will find the bhajan there. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Guru Kripa Bina Nahi Koi Sadhan Bal, Guru Kripa Bina Nahi Koi Sadhan Bal, Bhajamano Bhaja Anukshan, Bhajamano Bhaja Anukshan, Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Nilkano hi esa durlabha janam, Nilkano सा दुर्लभ जाना ब्रह्मतहु चौदह भुवन ब्रह्मतहु चौदह भुवन किसी को मिलते हैं अहो भाग्यों से किसी को मिलते स्मृति इतिहास पुराणो नो माहि श्रुति स्मृति इतिहास पुराणो नो माहि तीनों स्पष्ट सदा हरि नाम रतन श्री गुरु चरण कमल भजमन श्री गुरु चरण कमल भजमन गुरु चरण कमल भजमन गुरु चरण कमल भजमन हे गुरु चरण कमल भजमन चरण कमल भजमन गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय प्रभुपाद Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. Okay. Okay, so here's a very good bhajan for today, the day of resolutions. It is also related to what we were just discussing about whatever is internal, this should manifest outwardly. This does not mean that if it's not internal, we should not do the external activities of bhakti. That can also help to purify us internally. So sometimes devotees have a little bit of a idea, well, I'm not feeling it inside, so I'm not going to wear tilak on the outside. Except they don't understand that that's the foot dust of the gopis. That's the greatest, most powerful stuff. That can reverse any unwillingness to move forward on the path of bhakti, and can also awaken the Atma, Jiva Atma, to its eternal loving service to Krishna. So just because I'm not feeling it on the inside, maybe the inside I'm looking at might be the material mind, material intelligence, and the material false ego. We need to go a little bit deeper than that and understand that Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishna Nitya Das. The Jiva is an eternal servant of Krishna. So through all mediums, deepest internal and through the mind, body, senses, words, everything. And through taking all of the positive activities which are favorable for awakening devotion to the Lord. Then the senses, by the external activities, by doing the activities of bhakti yoga, can become purified. And then the soul, in a sense, and the body, in a sense, will be linked. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor. Everything should be utilized in the service of the Lord. And then you see those divine personalities. It might appear that they have some external material-like form, but because every particle of their being is exclusively utilized in the service of the Lord, it is no longer considered material or mundane. It is surcharged. It is transcendentally surcharged. So, the bhajan, Hari Hari, Kabe Mora, Habe Henodin, by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, page 41. O Hari, when will such a day be mine? I shall develop attachment to pure-hearted Vaishnavas, by which my material desires will be subdued. So attachment to them will remove our material desires. No disparity shall remain between my internal and external behavior. So if sometimes people say, I want to be true to myself. So my internal is full of demonic tendencies. I should not, therefore, exercise that externally. I'll end myself up in some very dangerous situation or prison or anything else. So that's not what the meaning of this is. It means that my heart, my internal, should also be doing the external, the activities of bhakti along with my external. There shall be no disparity between my internal and external behavior. I shall not honor desire for myself, and shall instead offer respect to others. I shall remain constantly absorbed in chanting Krishna's names and remembering him. I shall perform my bodily activities out of habit, just to maintain my life. So apparently there's some necessity. One has to do things like brush their teeth and take a shower and do whatever they need to do, but this would be habit to maintain their life. I shall become attached only to that which is favorable to bhajan of Sri Krishna. I shall firmly reject whatever is unfavorable for bhajan. Absorbed in bhajan, when the time comes, I shall readily give up this body. With these aspirations, Bhaktivinoda resides in the forest of Godrum. He always weeps in a solitary place, anxious at heart to receive the mercy of the Lord. So because he has said, Bimala Vaishnava Rati Upajive, when will I develop attachment to the pure-hearted Vaishnavas? This is what he is hoping to attain in the association of Vaishnavas. Sudevi and I were discussing one thing today, quite interestingly, that whatever you see on the external of someone, whatever they're speaking, whatever they're promoting, whatever they're representing, you can't always judge a book by its cover. But generally you can assume that there is a lot more behind it. It's the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. And so if one is engaged in Krishna bhakti, then you can generally understand that there's a lot more Krishna behind it. And if one is engaged in anything other than, or anything which is not exclusively for Krishna bhakti, then you can also understand that there's so much more behind that. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj explained that the gross is a manifestation of the condensation of the subtle. So whatever is going on in this subtle realm is expressing itself in the gross realm. But the consciousness is more affected because it is the source of that external manifestation, not the other way around, interestingly enough. Can you see Mahaprabhu? I'm expecting people to be tagging Sonam right now. There you go. Anjali. So, it's an important thing to consider. And then sometimes we think that no one can detect it. No one can detect what's going on. Anyone who is sincerely and seriously moving forward on the path of bhakti and engaging in the aspects of bhajan. Bhajan does not just mean chanting the songs. Bhajan means all of the activities that one undertakes to progress on the path of devotion. Bhajana kriya. All of the different activities of bhakti. So, anyone who is chanting a lot, anyone who's actually making that endeavor, they can see. The demigods can see. Any subtle being can see. Many other people can see. They know. Have you ever heard someone go, they feel fake? Even people can feel it. So whatever is going on the outside and the inside, if we endeavor to be sincere, if we hold on tightly, if we pray to Gurudev, if we pray to the Vaishnavas, then the internal can become like them. And the external will naturally move along the path of perfection. So bhajana kriya is there. The activities of bhakti are necessary. As we read from Bhaktivinoda Thakur previously, sadhana is necessary. Regulation is necessary. And why am I speaking about this? Because today is that day, Akshaya Tritiya, the day that the universe was created. The day when all auspiciousness comes, when you make new resolutions. This is not just the New Year's resolution, this is the new universe resolution. So this is big, big stuff. New Year's come once every year. But the universe, this universe, it has a duration of 311 trillion, 600 billion something years. So once in an extremely long time. So many, many projects, including devotional projects, like the opening of temples and receiving initiation and things like that, they take place on this day because it awards one the benefit of attaining the result or perfection of their practice. And so I'm speaking about these things in a way to try to impress upon us, myself included, that if we make some kind of resolution on this day, the configuration of this day helps us to be able to complete or to follow through with that resolution. And our resolutions, if we are truly following, I shall become attached only to that which is favorable to bhajan of Sri Krishna and reject whatever is unfavorable to bhajan. If we're truly following that, then our resolutions will be all related to bhakti, devotion. I will put more energy, more time into my chanting, more focus into my chanting. I will utilize some more percentage of the funds that I accumulate and generally use for my own enjoyment, I will use for bhakti purposes. By that, bhakti sukriti, spiritual merit, can increase. I will engage less of my time in Facebook or Netflix and more of my time in devotional activities. I will endeavor to, so many different kinds of resolutions we can make which are favorable for bhakti and devotion. I will put more energy into my Thakurji Seva, more focus, more devotion. So we will sing now, Hari Hari Kabe Mor Habe Heno Dina. By Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, page 41. Hari Hari Kabe Mora Habe Heno Dina. Kabe Mora Habe Heno Dina. Bimala Vaishnave Rati Upajive Vasana Hoibe Kino. Bimala Vaishnave Rati Upajive Vasana Hoibe Kino. Hari Hari Kabe Mora Habe Heno Dina. Kabe Mora Habe Heno Dina. Antare Bahire Samvyavahar Ammani Manada Havo. Antare Bahire Samvyavahar Ammani Manada Havo. Krishna Sankirtane Shri Krishna Smarane. Krishna Sankirtane Shri Krishna Smarane. O Sato Majiyaro, O Sato Majiyaro. Edehero kriya abhyase koribo jivono japono lagi. Edehero kriya abhyase koribo jivono japono lagi. Shri Krishna bhajane anukula jaha. Shri Krishna bhajane anukula tahe hobo anuragi, tahe hobo anuragi. Bhajanero jaha pratikulataha dridha bhave te agivo. Bhajanero jaha pratikulataha dridha bhave te agivo. Bhajite bhajite Somoyo yashile, bhajite bhajite Somoyo yashile, edeho chariyadivo, edeho chariyadivo. O bhakati vinodam ei asha kori boshiya godrumo bane. Bhakati vinodam ei asha kori boshiya godrumo bane. Prabhu kripa lagi व्याकुलयन्तरे, प्रभु कृपा लागि व्याकुलयन्तरे, सदा कादे संगोपने, ओ सदा कादे संगोपने. ओ कबे मोर हबे Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Prabhu Kripa Koro, More Doya Koro, Prabhu Kripa Koro, More Doya Koro, Prabhu Kripa Koro, More Doya Koro, Prabhu Kripa Koro, More Doya Koro. All Vaishnava Thakurs ki Jai. Dandavat Pranam all Vaishnavas. Oh, Nimai Chaitanya Prabhu Haribol. Lavangalata Govinda Rupini. And I don't know, I haven't seen everyone's names here. I just look back and I see a message from Keshav Priya. I'm relieved to see the song speak about developing attachment to pure-hearted Vaishnavas. This I can do. We always say it starts with Shraddha. I don't have faith, but I love the association of certain devotees. So developing attachment to the Vaishnavas, that I can do. And that is really for us where it starts. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Utamagati. So attachment to the lotus feet of Shri Guru, this will bring us to perfection. By having attachment to Guru and Vaishnavas, this is what will inspire Shraddha. This will inspire faith. Why? Because by their association, something awakens in the heart. The tendency, the inclination to serve Krishna. So that means their association is what brings about Shraddha. Interestingly enough, and I think we've discussed it many times before, it's not going to be a long discussion. But, you know that verse by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Brahmand Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. The jiva who's wandering in this material universe, moving from one place to another according to their karma. Sometimes going up to higher planetary systems, sometimes going down to the lower planetary systems, in so many different species. That jiva who is extremely fortunate, kon bhagyavan. What makes them fortunate? The will of the Lord. By that, bhakti sukriti comes. But Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bij. By the mercy of Krishna, they receive in their life the condensed form of the mercy of Krishna, that is Krishna Kripa Shri Murti or Shri Guru. And Guru Krishna prasade pai. By the mercy of this Guru Krishna, Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of the creeper of bhakti is given. It's not like Guru is giving a seed like a seed, planting a seed. That seed of bhakti, or the creeper of bhakti, is their association. If you see in all of the commentaries of our acharyas on this one point, that Bhakti Lata Bij has another name, and it is called Sadhu Sangha. By that Sadhu Sangha, this awakening of the desire to serve Krishna takes place within our hearts. So Shraddha, which is the beginning as well, this is also awakened by their association. And you can look at it in terms of a seed. We already have something inherent within us. We have our nature to serve Krishna and our specific nature as well to serve Krishna in a particular way, or whoever our Ishtadev is, in a particular way, in whatever ras is there. It's inherent within us, but it requires some awakening from outside. The seed can be in a jar for years and years and years. I think they found some seeds when they opened up the pyramids. They found some ancient kind of pumpkin seeds. And although they were there for such a long time, thousands of years, they took those out and they planted them. They gave them some nourishment, the proper amount of heat and light and sun and everything else and water. And by that, then they were able to manifest according to their own nature. So this is the function of Guru. This is the function of the Vaishnavas. They see right inside. Oh, beautiful jiva. You have such a beautiful, natural, inherent serving mood to Krishna. But now it is dormant, it is stunted. And instead of experiencing that, you're experiencing the endless suffering in the blazing forest fire of material existence. Out of great compassion and mercy, and by their association, by their harikatha, by their kirtan of Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, something happens. That is Shravana Kirtana Jale. That is the water, Mahaprabhu says. What makes that sprout? Shravana Kirtana Jale Koriye Sechan. Hearing harikatha, hearing their kirtan. And Gurudev said, because once I asked Gurudev, whose kirtan? My kirtan, which is full of anarthas and aparads, or the kirtan of the pure devotee? When we hear this Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam Eva Kevalam. He said both. First, Shravanam, then Kirtanam. Hearing their kirtan and also repeating that kirtan. Both processes. This awakens the Shraddha, which grows toward Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, and Prem of the Jiva. So it all begins with the Sukriti and Sadhu Sangha, attachment to the lotus feet of Sri Gurudev and the Vaishnavas. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur was so desperately praying here, I shall develop attachment to the pure-hearted Vaishnavas. This is really how we will be able to actually move forward on the path of bhakti. It's not only following the external, it's associating by heart. And associating by heart means there's mamata. Mamata means, you are mine. And it should go both ways. I am yours, you are mine. I am yours and you are mine. When that deep attachment is there, then one naturally wants to have or be like that person they're admiring. And they absorb themselves in that consciousness. That is called satsanga. And asatsanga does the same thing but in the other direction. Full contemplation and absorption in the mundane and material takes us away from the path of devotion and bhakti and keeps us bound in samsara. And we become like that. Jiva Goswami explains that we are like a crystal. And whatever color cloth you put it over, basically it absorbs that association. And really association, Gurudev said, is the most essential thing. If you have unfavorable association, it can bring you to ruin. And if you have favorable association, sadusange sarva shastre koi, lavamatra sadusange sarva siddhi hoy. One moment of that favorable association, true, deep, heartfelt association, can bring one to perfection. And Gurudev gave the example of Narakasur, the son of Varahadev and Bhumi Devi, Mother Earth. They produced a son. And his name wasn't Narakasur initially. His name was Bhumi Nandan or Varahanandan. But Gurudev explained that due to bad association over time, even though he's the son of God, even though he's the son of the God, due to bad association, he was basically demonized. He became a demon like that association. And the Lord himself came. Krishna came. Varahadev came again as Krishna. And Krishna finished him off. That was the same person who stole all of those 16,100 princesses and kept them in his cave. No one else would marry them because they had been taken by another. He kept those 16,100 princesses. When Krishna killed him and rescued them, they fell at Krishna's feet. We have no one else. You are our everything. Please accept us. Krishna accepted all of them, married all of them, made them his queens. And they were very happy for it. Thank you, Sonam. Yes, she's very excited about this subject. We all should be. This is the teachings of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu, he's speaking about this Bhakti Lata Bij. I don't want to go so far into it, but he warns us to be careful for those things which look like Bhakti, the weeds which look like it. You have to be very aware which one is the real thing and which one is the fake. For every one real thing, there's a lot of fakes out there. So we have to be careful. Always someone trying to pass something off as the real thing, but it might not be. And then we have to be careful for the Hati Mata, the mad elephant offense. Mad elephant offense is known as Vaishnava Aparad. So Mahaprabhu recommends putting a big fence around your bhakti creeper so the mad elephant cannot break through. And that mad elephant is what is against affection to the pure devotees of the Lord, Vaishnava Aparad. So that is another subject which Vrindavana Dasa Thakura will go into very intensively. So I want to follow through with what Vrindavana Dasa Thakura will say. Oh, thank you for posting, JJ. Yes, Srimad Bhagavatam 25:25. Sri Kapila Dev states, Satam prasangam amavirya samvido bhavanti hrit karana rasayana kata tajjo shanad ashvapa varga vartmani shraddha ratir bhakti anukramishati. In the association of exalted devotees, one gains the opportunity to hear of my chivalrous pastimes, which deliver knowledge of my prowess and which are pleasing to the ear and heart. By hearing these pastimes, the path to abolishing ignorance promptly manifests first as Shraddha, then Rati, and finally Prem Bhakti to me. So I guess I was speaking that in a different way, but yes, that is the beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam establishing this point. So, what Keshav Priya wrote, attachment to the Vaishnavas, attachment to the devotees of the Lord, and here it was mentioned the pure devotees of the Lord. This for us is the most essential thing. By that attachment, everything will come. We are naturally made. Gurudev said, I've heard humans are social animals. If you are not finding or feeling affection in one society, naturally you will go to any other society where you feel affection. That is natural. Attachment is natural. So instead of attachment to the mundane or those who are attached to the mundane, Mahaprabhu says, be careful for that. Asat sangatyag. Be careful for unfavorable association, and especially be careful for those persons who are attached to those persons who are always absorbed in mundane lust. How do you get rid of that attachment? You need to replace it with another attachment. Attachment to the devotees of the Lord. So Shri Guru Charane Rati, attachment to his lotus feet, is the perfection which fulfills all desires. Ese Uttamagati. This will bring one to the highest perfection. Is it raining? Wow! Whew. Very exciting. We're getting a really good downpour right now.
Can you see it?
I can see it on that side. Can you open the curtain more? It's been very hot and humid. So the rain will be, it's very welcome right now. Anjali's like, it's raining. And then she puts in quotes, and then she puts your name, and then she's like, ulu ulu. Okay. Maybe there's global Harinam going on right now. It is said that through the process of yajna, rain comes because the demigods are pleased. Why are they pleased? Because the Supreme Lord is pleased. Yajna is the process in which one pleases the Lord. And yatataror mulani shechanena, if you please the Lord, automatically all his parts and parcels are pleased. So by watering the root of the tree, automatically the entire tree is nourished, all the leaves and branches and everything. So if one is doing yajna, and what is the yajna for this age? Harinam Sankirtan, Yajna Sankirtana. That is the yajna for this age, the way to please the Lord and the way to serve the Yuga Avatar. It is the way to serve and please the Yuga Avatar, who is Sri Sachinandan Gaura Hari, Caitanya Mahaprabhu. By that, rain comes. By the rain, grains, food, everything which is nourishing for everyone. And of course, if we're using it properly, then it should be all utilized in the service of Krishna. Rudragupta Prabhu, it's a dangerous thing to do if you're not well versed in the Tattva and Siddhanta, to have conversations with those persons who will try to run circles around you. Mahaprabhu warns, Mayavada Bhasha Shunile Hoi Sarvanash. Anyone who hears this conception, it can be very dangerous. It can destroy everything. But those who are strong, who are powerful, who are capable, who are properly trained, like our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he knew exactly how to deal with them, like with a sword in hand. Very powerful, and they went running with their tails between their legs. Our Gurudev was like that, our Srila Prabhupada, our Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, all of our acharyas, so powerful. But unless we understand the tattvas very deeply, then it's best to avoid getting into those conversations. I had one experience once where I did get in that conversation with someone, and it was literally 4 hours of word jugglery and loop. He was trying to convince me that we weren't actually having this conversation, and it literally went on for 4 hours. And I remember at the end going, oh my God, I just wasted 4 hours of my life on this conversation, which didn't have any meaning anyway. So, better to just chant Hare Krishna. And you can be kind, respectful, or just say, oh, I got an important message, I have to go. And, it's better to watch your kitten video than to than to have that conversation if you're not able to give the evidences and soundly defeat that. We should not compromise with those conceptions. Radhika Sharma. I don't understand where the... question, Kishori Mohan. How to counteract this without offending and being and to be sweet? What did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu show? He showed it exactly. Because it's difficult. That mindset is considered to be quite hard-hearted. Because even it acknowledges the Lord, but then denies Him. Then acknowledges His form and then denies Him. So Mahaprabhu, he remained silent. He continued chanting, and when they questioned him, what are you doing? You're a sannyasi, you're chanting the names of Krishna, but you should be studying Vedanta. This is the proper thing for a sannyasi to do. And Mahaprabhu said, my guru thought me to be a fool, so he didn't recommend that I should study Vedanta and like that. He just suggested that I should chant the holy names of the Lord. And then just seeing his countenance, his beauty, his nature, and his sweetness, he didn't accept their association. He actually took a very humble role, and they were just like a little bit surprised. And they became interested. Wait a second. And then they wanted to know more from him. So he was expert in shifting the conversation. In essence, they say like placing the ball in his court where they wanted to know from him. So why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Why are you just sitting there looking so amazing and beautiful? Because he was so attractive. This was one of his weapons, his beauty. So they were really concerned. And then he started speaking. Same thing with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. 7 days and 7 nights, Sarvabhauma is speaking. Constantly. The Mayavad conceptions of Veda and Shastra and Bhagavatam and everything. And Mahaprabhu was just sitting there silently. After 7 days, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is like, I'm concerned. You've been sitting here for so many days and you have not said anything, nothing. What do you think? The moment he acknowledged Mahaprabhu as a person and asked him, what do you think? Then Mahaprabhu started speaking. And he was running circles around him. So there are certain ways to do things. One does not have to be offensive or rude, but one is not required to accept unfavorable association. In other words, we don't have to eat that. So one can be honorable, one can be dignified, one can be respectful, one can be kind in the same way that you might have that relationship to the store clerk. Hello, how are you? Is everything good? The store clerk, you see them regularly, but you don't have a deep connected relationship with them generally. We also have relationship to so many people who are, in essence, taking part in the murdering and eating of animals and wholesale. We don't associate by heart closely to those persons, but rather by our nature we should be in such a way that we are giving association, not accepting. And Srila Prabhupada made this point very often. Why should we compromise? If we have the superior thing, we should give association, not accept association. So that doesn't mean that association is not there, it just means that you're not accepting and that you are giving. So I hope that was sufficient. Jiva Pavana Prabhu, are you writing that for me? One devotee asked here, is Srila Prabhupada in Gopi Bhav? Our Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj has asserted very strongly, based on all of his conversations that he had with Prabhupada from 1947, when he met him first, and then living with him for years in the mutt, and then when Prabhupada was at Radha Damodar temple, and seeing his nature, who he is, how he would do bhajan, how he would weep while singing Shri Rupa Manjari Pada, how his Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj gave sannyas and the Gopi Bhav mantra to Srila Prabhupada, how Srila Prabhupada asked him to place himself in samadhi with his own hands, and our Gurudev wrote the Manjari Bhav mantras all over his body. Even at the time when he was there, ready to depart, he was manifesting certain symptoms that our Gurudev recognized as symptomatic of Rasalila. Prabhupada desired to go to Govardhan, and deep inside, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, every day before class, singing first thing in the morning, Nikunja Yuno Ratikeli Siddhyai, then the Tulsi Arti song, Seva Adhikar Diye Koro Nija Dasi, Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sadayena Bhasi. So all of these different proofs, and what is the mission, the goal. So our Krishna consciousness movement is how to become one of the Gopi Jan. And then the fact that what is Rupanuga? Our Gurudev has given all of the evidences of the definition of Rupanuga. Sudevi, go see if there's a rainbow, please. Oh. Now I just want you to see if there's a rainbow, because the sun just came out. Okay. Srila Bhakti Kamal Govinda Maharaj, he wrote that in her book. Oh my dear Lord Krishna, you are the rainbow at the end of every storm of my life. So, according to what Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu came to give, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita it says Chari Bhav. This means the four rasas. But if you really go deeply into what he is experiencing and who he is, he's Krishna experiencing the Bhav of Srimati Radhika. And Unnata Ujvala Rasang Svabhakti Shriyam. Through the medium of Rupa Goswami, Mahaprabhu's mission was established in this world. Right? Sri Caitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. So Rupa Goswami writes this verse, Anarpita Charing Chirat, and in there he's explicitly explaining what Mahaprabhu particularly came to awaken. This Unnata Ujvala Rasang Svabhakti Shriyam, those who are Rupanugas, they are following the sadhana that Rupa Goswami followed as a sadhaka, and within their internally conceived spiritual bodies, Seva Sadhaka Rupena, Siddha Rupena Chatrahi, they are also serving Radha and Krishna in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan, just like Sri Rupa is serving Radha and Krishna as a maidservant of Srimati Radhika. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Seyamor Sampada Seyamor Bhajana Pujan. So through all of these evidences, our Srila Gurudev has established emphatically that this is the complete or highest conception of who Srila Prabhupada is in Krishna Lila, and that all other rasas are contained within Madhurya Ras, and this is very distinctly expressed in Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. So in essence, if you have $100, then within $100 you have 99, 98, 97, 96, 95. You have all the way from 0 to 100 within 100. So if you see 100 as the topmost ras, I know it's just a material example, but then you can say there is Vatsalya Prem. Vatsalya Prem, you could say this goes 75. And then Sakya Prem, 50. And then Dasya Prem, 25. And Shanta would be neutral. This is just an example, but if you understand it from that perspective, then you will see that the completion of all rasas is in Madhurya. And all of the other rasas up to Vatsalya are fully contained with that. So Vatsalya is fully manifest, and Sakya is fully manifest, and Dasya is fully manifest within Madhurya. So if someone has or is in their intrinsic nature Madhurya, then they can nourish any other rasa. And so our Gurudev was very, very, very strong on this point. He said it causes pain to his heart to hear someone suggest that Prabhupada is only Sakya, because it's not. In essence, if someone is saying that, then according to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, then he cannot nourish Gopi Bhav. He cannot nourish anyone in Madhurya Ras. He would have to send them to any Shiksha Guru who is in Madhurya Ras to nourish them. So our Gurudev did not and could not accept that. He accepted that our Prabhupada was complete and full, like Rupa Goswami, like all of our Rupanuga Vaishnava Acharyas. And so he gave this again and again and again, very strong establishment of the Swarup and the intrinsic nature of our Srila Prabhupada as a true Rupanuga in every sense of the word. Question. If one follows in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami, can they have any other bhav than Gopi or Manjari bhav? If one is actually following explicitly the footsteps of Rupa Goswami, and they are true Rupanuga in the true sense, or the complete sense, then they would be also following him as he is serving in Nitya Lila. As a Sarak here, as a Siddha there. This is the truest sense. Now, it doesn't mean that Rupa Goswami cannot give inspiration or nourishment to any other rasa. He is and can. Our Gurudev was able to give nourishment to those who are Ram Bhaktas, that is Dasya Prem, in even a different relationship with a different particular manifestation of the Lord as Sri Ram. But because all of the completion of all of those bhavs is present within someone who is in that Madhurya Ras, they are able to nourish everyone else. But still, at a certain point, the arrangement will be made by the Lord that whoever that is will receive association which is much more focused in terms of their particular rasa with their particular Ishtadev. So then anyone who would be a Madhurya Rasa or maidservant of Srimati Radhika, you can say, in Krishna Lila, they can nourish a Ram Bhakta, but they would arrange somehow that they would receive the association of someone who would be completely absorbed, like Hanuman, always, 100%, 24 hours in the pastimes of Sri Ram, and that will nourish them to their perfection. So that would be the shiksha that would help them to come to their perfection. I saw something from Achyuta Krishna Prabhu. Hold on. Catch it. Okay. One second. What advice does Gurudev provide on Manasi Seva? So much, but only when one is qualified. Once upon a time, in Barshana many years ago, and I've told this before, but many of you weren't present. So, it was the disappearance festival of our Srila Prabhupada. And interestingly enough, within our Gurudev Sangha, which you didn't find in any other or every other Gaudiya Mat, but our Gurudev would because, I mean, he embraced so many from so many groups. So we would honor Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, definitely. We would honor Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, so many. Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj within our Sangha. And so it was quite beautiful to see the honoring of all Vaishnavas, the glorifying of these Vaishnavas, especially on their day. So it was the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada. And the devotees were going to first do an arati and pushpanjali, and then there was going to be a class. So, well, it was going to be discussion and glorifications. So we were in Barshana at Modi Bhavan. And that time, I can't remember if he was a sannyasi yet. Maybe it was still Krishna Bhajan Prabhu. He was going to do the arati. He's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Now you know him as Bhaktivedanta Sajjan Maharaj. So, they were searching everywhere for an arti tray. But they couldn't use the same arti tray that they used for Thakurji for Gurudev. It's not proper. And so they were searching for any arti tray, and they couldn't find anything. And they were like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And one young boy said to him, well, just do Manasi Seva, Prabhu. Manasi Seva? He's like, yeah, just do it in your mind. So it came time for the arti, so he was there doing the achman, but there was no achman cup, no water, no spoon, no nothing. And then he puts achman on the bell, but there was no bell. And then he puts achman on the incense. And then he takes his lighter, but there's no lighter. It's all just here, but he's doing it. So basically he did that, then he did the lamp, one thing after the next, and Srila Gurudev came into that during the Chamara Seva. So at that time, he was ringing, moving his hand like this, but there was no bell, and he had his mental chamara, but he was doing the external activity like this. And Gurudev walked in and looked at him. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, we didn't have any arti tray or anything, so I'm doing it by mind. Manasa Seva Gurudev. And Gurudev he was unimpressed. And he just said, how would you like it if I fed you by mind? And that was a valuable lesson in that moment. How would you like it if I fed you by mind? In other words, if one is not on that level, if one is not qualified to serve like that, then it can be jumping ahead of oneself. And it could actually also be detrimental. We know of the experience in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami. Maybe you've read it in Nectar of Devotion. I'm trying to remember who that was. I remember reading the name of that personality who was doing that service. Anyhow, in his mind he was cooking for Thakurji. And to test the temperature of the kheer that he was making, he put his finger in, and it was all within his mental seva. And he opened his eyes and his finger was actually burnt. Really burnt. Because it was too hot. He was just testing to see if it was cool enough to offer. He didn't want to offer it too hot. And so this is the example given by Srila Rupa Goswami for one who is qualified to offer Manasi Seva to the Lord. So I am asking so not to perform offense. There is a certain amount of manasi that is necessary. What do we do by mind? As we're doing the external, we are also visualizing something internally. But what we are visualizing should be exactly along the lines of what our Gurudev and Guru Varga have given us. It should not be something that is concocted. When one becomes qualified, then the Svarasiki Upasana will manifest. Why am I saying manifest? It is not something that we have heard that we're remembering, or something that we've read that we are remembering. Rather, it is constantly flowing, like a waterfall. The pastimes of the Lord are flowing. This is something different. This is very high level. But for us now, we follow the activities of bhajan, bhajana kriya, which our Guru Dev and our Guru Varga have prescribed for us. And by that, we will be able to progress. So, when Gurudev is saying, chant and remember the sweet pastimes of Krishna, he's not telling us, remember, you can only remember this one and not this one. But what we have heard, what we have received from Guru, from Sadhu, from Shastra, then we remember those. This is called mantra mayi upasana. And Gurudev has also given a meditation when one is doing arti. Sudevi has told it in the past. What to think of, how to see it, and he gave her in the mood of Vatsalya, because, well, that's also within Madhurya, and then he gave an indication of how those in Madhurya Ras also are doing Arti. So the external articles are there, but the meditation is something else. And there's no harm in that. Without having any kind of meditation or any kind of intention to just wave the articles in front of the deities, there's something missing. Without having any intention or aspiration to just mumble the holy names and move our mala, will not have the same potency or power or benefit to think of nothing while chanting. So there must be some intention, some meditation, some absorption. And so we can call that manasi, because it is in the mind. Most of what we do on the path of bhakti must be surcharged by mood and intention. Otherwise, it can just be ritual. And there is some potency and benefit to the ritual, but without that surchargedness, which is coming from the internal mood or bhav or intention, that ritual will move us very, very slowly. Means the sukriti that will come as a result will be very, very slow. By the association of Guru, by the association of Sadhu and Vaishnavas, that desire, that inclination to serve Krishna and the attachment to Krishna and hearing Krishna's Harikatha, hearing the glories of Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, this will increase within our heart the desire, the necessity to serve and to love Krishna. So in this connection, I will tell you what Srila Gurudev said. He said, this was in San Francisco, 1997, I believe. Yes, 97. So Srila Gurudev was sitting in the hall of his residence, and there was a darshan there. And he was speaking that once upon a time there was a young lady. It was coming time for her marriage. So her mother found a very excellent suitor, very excellent groom. At that time he was speaking, in the time of arranged marriages. This girl had never seen him before. But daily the mother would go and visit the family of that young man and see his character, see how he is, what is his nature and everything else. And then in the evening or later on, she would come home, and with her friends around the dinner table, she would speak, "Oh, today, this young man," or she would speak how he was. First she was speaking about his form. "Oh, he's very tall, he's very dark, very handsome, very beautiful. His eyes are beautiful. He's so kind, he's so respectful." And as she's speaking, this girl is overhearing. And then she would come the next day, "Oh, today, he was expert in playing musical instruments. And when he would sing, his voice was like honey, so sweet and deep like thunder." This girl's heart's starting to flutter a little bit. Wow, he sounds amazing. "Oh, today, he won the sports match. He was so expert. He defeated everyone. Now he's becoming heroic. And so every day this mother of this young lady who was of marriageable age would be speaking about him in her vicinity, but not directly, just telling her friends. But this little girl, this young marriageable girl, young lady, was hearing and becoming attracted. And already her heart was being given to this person, although she had never met him. One day, after dinner, the mother had left a picture of him on the chair and told her daughter, "You should clean up." And then she left and everyone left. So her daughter was cleaning everything. And then she sees on the chair, something is there, and she looks at it. This looks just like the description my mother was giving, but millions of times better. Like that. Gurudev said, like, more amazing than she could have ever imagined. She looked left and right. She took that picture and hid it under her cloth, ran into her room and closed the door, and put the picture next to her bed. And she dreamed of the day when they would meet, when they would be able to give each other their hearts. And when the time was right, Gurudev said, then the mother made the arrangement where they could be married, and then all of their desires were fulfilled. So Gurudev was explaining that Guru is like this. Guru is telling us about Krishna. So something is there, the meditation, the absorption, it's inside. That desperation, how he's tall, how dark, how handsome, how beautiful, how long are his arms and how his eyes are like lotus petals, how his hair is kissing his cheeks, how he's so expert in all arts, how he's expert in singing and dancing, best of dancers, musical instruments, and how he's so expert in all sports. How beautiful, sweet, charming, and also a little cheeky, naughty he is. Something should start to manifest in the heart, an attraction. I want to know this person. I want to meet this person. I want to love this person. Like this. So Gurudev said that Gurudev is like this expert mother. So I just wanted to share that with you, because how much of that is here? When you're hearing this katha, that goes in the ears and into the heart, and the heart starts to become attracted. And so that's all within the mind. And the external must be done. She's still cleaning the table, she's still doing this, still doing that, all of the external activities, but inside her mind and heart, obsessing on him, one-pointed, day and night. There was a rainbow? Okay, thank you, Sonam. I knew there was. The sky was really dark, blackish, like the complexion of Krishna. And then the sun came. It's like Srimati Radhika coming, and then the rainbow came. Let's see. Okay, so I'm receiving a photo of Vrindavan from Toronto, of the rainbow here. Thank you. So this point of Manasi Seva, everything that we do on the path of devotion has to have at its base, at its foundation, its intention. Otherwise, we can never attain to the path of spontaneous devotion. We will only be bound in the rituals, the external activities, out of fear or because we're supposed to do it or because we have to do it. And ritualistic bhakti, you cannot really call it pure bhakti. Because bhakti means devotion. That means affection. That means greedy desire. So if something is being done because it has to be done or out of force, it can't really be pure. You can't force someone to love someone else by yelling at them. You have to love them. It just doesn't work. How does that love come? It comes through natural or through inspiration. You hear about someone, you begin to develop trust, affection, attachment, love, affection. How many Prabhupada disciples didn't see him for quite a long time? And they may have only seen him once or twice. But seeing the fervor, the attachment, the love, the inspiration that the devotees had, and how they wanted to give everything to serve him, those devotees automatically became attached, attracted, and wanted to surrender their everything to him without even seeing him. So this kind of manasi seva is good. Just not the artificial kind, where I'm creating or concocting something, producing some kind of artificial something. Okay, now this manjari is doing that. Now this manjari is doing this, and I'm this and this. If it's just artificial and some concoction of the mind, that can be detrimental to bhakti. But what is favorable is what we have heard from Gurudev, that Harikatha, while we're chanting, we can remember that, and we can pray for the heart to be transformed. Hey Krishna Kripa, Radhe Radhe. I will be, we haven't gotten there yet. I did speak a little bit about Akshaya Tritiya, but so many questions have been coming because we were talking actually about Akshaya Tritiya and making resolutions. And then a photo just made a revolution around the world of a rainbow from Vrindavan, right back to me again. I've mentioned a lot about Akshaya Tritiya. Thank you, Sonam, for that. Yes. ठीक है. I'm just searching for Rup Goswami here. Suniyachi sadhu muke bole sarvajan Shri Rupa kripaya mile jugala charan. Page 51 by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. What is a favorable kind of manasi seva? One example, really quick. There was one devotee in New Braj. She was quite young. She was told that she should do the Mangal Arti. She was afraid. She didn't want to do it. She was scared because Gurudev was there in the bedroom and he was coming out for Mangal Arti. She didn't want to do it, but no one else wanted to do it, so she had to. She was quite afraid. What did she do? Within her mind, within her heart, she saw that Gurudev was taking her hand and he was showing her how to do everything. Right? Offering all the articles. She just, out of naturally, she just saw it like that. So she saw that when she was offering the incense and the diya and the flowers and everything, that Gurudev was taking her hand and he was showing her how to do it. When the Mangalarti was over and everyone went to do their Jayadvani, Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Radha Vino Vihari Ju Ki Jai. At that time, Gurudev came over to her and whispered in her ear, I like your mood so much. So that's something that The disciples should understand. When you're in the kitchen, it's not our kitchen, it's Radharani's kitchen. And we should see that actually she is cooking for Krishna and we are just there to assist. When we are doing arti, I'm not qualified to do arti directly, but Sri Guru is. So Gurudev is doing the arti and I'm only there to assist. So maybe my hands are doing the external, but I should see that I am only Gopi Bhaktu Padakamalyor Das Das Anudas. Suniyachi sadhu mukhe bole sarva jana. Suniyachi sadhu mukhe bole sarva jana. Shri Rupa kripayo mile jugal charana. Shri Rupa kripayo mile jugal charana. Ha Prabhu sanatana Gora parivaro. Ha Prabhu sanatana Gora parivaro. Sabe mili vancha purno karo yamaro. Sabe mili vancha purno karo yamaro. Shri Rupero kripa jeno yama prati hoyo. Shri Rupero kripa jeno ama prati hoyo. Se pado yashrayo jar se mahashoyo. Se pado ashrayo jar se mahashoyo. Prabhu lokonatho kabe sange loiya jabe. Prabhu lokonatho kabe sange loiya jabe. Shri Rupero pado padme more samarpive. Shri Rupero pado padme more samarpive. Enoki hoibe moro Dharma Sakhi Gane. Henoki hoibe moro Dharma Sakhi Gane. Anugato naro tame koribe shasane. Anugato naro tame koribe shasane. Suniyachi sadhu mukhe bole sarva jano. Suniyachi sadhu mukhe bole sarva jano. Shri Rupa kripayo mile jugal charana. Shri Rupa kripayo mile jugal Jai Rupa Sanatan, Jai Rupa Sanatan, Rupa Sanatan, Jai Rupa Sanatan, Jai Rupa Sanatan, Rupa Sanatan, Jai Rupa Sanatan, Jai Rupa Sanatan. Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai. Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki Jai, Shri Sad Goswami Prabhu ki Jai, Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga ki Jai. And Krishna Premavati, that is the perfect thing to do, as Mahaprabhu had ordered Raghunath Das Goswami to do that in your mind. So there are different kinds of Manasi Seva apparently. One should not jump and superimpose themselves into Radha Krishna's Nikunja Lila when they are unqualified. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada will definitely give some very strong warnings against doing this as we are progressing through Caitanya Bhagavat. But for these kinds of things, the sadhana, it may be necessary. One should always chant within their mind and outside. If you are chanting, if you chant 64 rounds a day, then in between the time when you are not chanting on your mala, if anyone has ever tried doing that, you will find that you cannot stop. It will continue internally, non-stop, within your mind, within your heart. No matter what you're doing, this will be Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And then you start chanting again on your mala the next day, and it just continues. Gurudev said 32 rounds, or 16 even, is not enough to help to curb the wicked mind from contemplating all kinds of mundane things. He was like 64 minimum, or maybe 2 lakhs. You came from Indian family background. Wow, that's intense. Hare Krishna. Yes, I know of other young ladies from India, even though their family are bhaktas of Krishna, but still they were so worried that no one will want her because she's a bhakta, and they'll be thinking, oh, she's like Mira, who will marry her? So they ripped off her kanti mala and heavily chastising her, trying to encourage her to be normal in the world. These kinds of things happen. But it makes your conviction even stronger in the path of bhakti and in the feet of the pure devotees. So, Hare Krishna. Now we will call out for the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu and Sachinandan Gaura Hari. I'm sorry you had to go through that, Krishna Premavati Devi Dasi. Especially if you were raised in a background of Sanatan Dharma. It makes a lot of confusion. Same thing happens when you are raised within a family of devotees, and so many things in the name of bhakti are unfortunately being done which are very, very far from bhakti. It also creates a difficult situation, and it makes a lot of room for doubting. But if one is fortunate, by the mercy of Krishna, they can separate the wheat from the chaff. They can separate that good thing from all of the nonsense things and understand that all of this nonsense has nothing to do with bhakti. Pure bhakti is everything. Everything for the jiva, everything for Krishna as well. It is sad that in this culture it is being so rejected. You know, this good, devotional, pure-hearted lajja means shyness, and sweet nature is being rejected, and what is being superimposed on it is quite lewd in exchange. This is what is expected these days. It is essential. That's why Srila Prabhupada brought back people from the West to show India, look, they're taking your culture, don't throw your culture away. He called them his dancing white elephants. And they came and they were like chanting the holy names of the Lord and preaching Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Don't throw this away, don't follow the West. The West realized they made a mistake, they're turning around, they're coming back this way. You already have it, don't let it go. but oh, so much atheism is coming now. Even in schools, they're preaching that it's all just mythology. Ramayana, Bhagavatam, Krishna, and everything. They're teaching the young children that it's just mythology. Something meant for Amar Chitrakatha, the comic books. That kind of stuff. But still, India has massive amounts of faithful people, but a lot of the faith doesn't have a solid foundation, unfortunately. And so it's easy to shake it. When you have the solid foundation of Shastra, Tattva Siddhanta, and association with Vaishnavas, then it becomes, I'm talking about real Vaishnavas, pure Vaishnavas, strong, powerful Vaishnavas, then that faith can become strong and fixed, and it has foundation. Otherwise, anything can shake something that doesn't have foundation. So, Mahaprabhu gave an order for all those who are of Bharatvarsh, especially from the land where the Lord Himself appears. Bharatvarsh was the whole world, but the Lord was manifesting here in Vrindavan, in Ayodhya. So many places within this holy land, because of the prevalence of Dharma, Sanatan Dharma, the Lord would manifest where His devotees were present. So, Bharata Bhumite, Mahaprabhu says, who is from this Bharat Bhumi? Gurudev explained that it is a state of consciousness. If someone is atheistic and living in Bharat Bhumi, they are not of Bharat Bhumi. They are not of this consciousness of Bharat. That state of consciousness which is conscious of God and loving service to God. Whoever has this within them, it is their solemn duty to share that with others and to help to attract others to also come to that point of service, loving service to the Lord. So that's for each individual. Listen, I learned a lot from those Amar Chitrakatha. I still appreciate them very much. Now we're going to call for the mercy of Nitai and Gauranga together. Since this has been the topic of our discussion and time is getting late, Dhanamor Nityananda, Patimor Gaurachandra, Pranamor Jugala Kishore. Page 91 by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Achyuta Krishna Prabhu, a baby starts walking, but keeps falling. How does it work? If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. We've seen that there are those who can walk, so we should have faith that we can walk. Mahajano yena kata sapanta. So many have walked that path. Let us follow those persons who have walked that path to success, and one day we shall be able to walk as well. Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakata Vrinda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakata Vrinda. Advaitayacharya Gadadharo Mora Kula Naro Hari Lila Saimo Naro Hari Lila Saimo Vaishnavero Pada Dhuli Tahe Mor Snano Keli Vaishnavero Pada Dhuli Tahe Mor Snano Keli Tarpan Mor Vaishnavero Naam Tarpan Mor Vaishnavero Naam Vicharo Puriyamone Bhakti Raso Yashwadone Vicharo Puriyamone Bhakti Raso Yashwadone Madhyasta Śrī Bhagavata Purano Madhyasta Śrī Bhagavata Purano Vaishnavero Uchishta Tahe Moro Manonishta Vaishnavero Uchishta Tahe Moro Manonishta Vaishnavero Name Te Ulas Vaishnavero Name Te Ulas Vrindavane Chotara Tahe Mor Manu Bhera Vrindavane Chotaro Tahe Mor Manu Bhera Kohe Dino Naro Tamodas Kohe Dino Naro Tamodas Dhana Mora Nityananda Pati Mor Gaura Chandra Dhana Mora Nityananda Pati Mora Gaura Chandra Pran Mor Jugala Kishore Pran Mor Jugala Kishore Sachinandan Jai Gaura Hari Jai Sachinandan Jai Gaura Hari Jai Sachinandan Jai Gaura Hari Sachinandan Jai Gaura Hari Nitai He Gaura He Nitai He Gaura He Nitai He Gaura He Nitai He Gaura He पतित पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय And now, as we promised yesterday, Vraja Jana Mana Sukhari, along with Hare Krishna, Mahamantra. So that is page 366. And this was written by our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. He had seen that during Brajmandal Parikrama, our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, was familiar with all of the local Braj bhajans. And our Gurudev was quite amazed by that. And so seeing that, he felt inspiration in his heart. He wrote down this bhajan, Vraja Jana Mana Sukhari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. And he presented it to his Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, who was very pleased to receive it and then said, bring me a pen. So Gurudev brought him the pen and he wrote down Narayana Balihari. That one line, he wrote that down in there. When Sudevi and Vishaka first sang this for Gurudev in Aberystwyth in I don't remember, the first festival that Gurudev had in Wales. They had never sung for Gurudev before, but they knew, they just felt it so strong in their heart. Gurudev's going to have us sing, Gurudev's going to have us sing, Gurudev's going to have us sing. So they were practicing this bhajan every day. And then Gurudev said to them, he just looked over and he said, you two, any sweet bhajan? And they were like, oh my God, okay. And they were like, Shri Radhe Vraja Jana Mana Sukhari. And I was already practiced with the harmonium as well. And Gurudev was like, huh? He was really happy. And he's like, yes. And then when they came to the Narayana Balihari, Gurudev folded his hands and bowed his head. And that time, Pujapad Madhav Maharaj, I think he was still Naveen Krishna Brahmachari at the time, he was so excited and so happy that this bhajan was being sung. He was like dancing in the background. So we will blend from this beautiful bhajan, which is the darshan of our Gurudev, what he's seeing, beautiful pastimes of Vrindavan, a beautiful prayer calling for the mercy of Shri Radha and Krishna. Here it is said, Radha Krishna mili abado Gaura Rupa avatari Kirtana Dharma Prachari. Radha Krishna, together both of them have become manifest in the form of Gaur, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he is preaching Kirtan Dharma, or the Dharma of Kirtan in this world. And then, without you I have no other, Nama Rupa Avatari. You incarnate in this divine name and in divine form. At your feet, Charananame Balihari. At your feet, rapture is found. This Narayan delights there. Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. Many years ago we were singing this bhajan, and my brother's wife, she's a Brajbasi. She's born and raised in Vrindavan, or in Brajmandal. And her friend also, they were like, yeah, we've been singing this bhajan since we were little. We know this one by heart. We were like, our Gurudev was considered one of the, if not the most respected sadhus in Mathura Mandal. And for thousands and thousands were giving so much honor and respect and everything. And any bhajan that he would have written back in the day can easily be integrated into the local, you can say, bhajan dialect, the local bhajan songs. So they knew it and they were very familiar with it. So we will follow this with Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that calling of the jivas in separation for the Lord, for separation from the Lord, for His mercy, the power to awaken praying within the heart with a mood, O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. Shri Radhe Vraja Jana Mana Sukhari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Shri Radhe Vraja Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Vraja Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Shri Radhe Vraja Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Mor Mukut Makara Krita Kundala Kalavaijanti Mala Mor Mukut Makara Krita Kundala Kalavaijanti Mala Charanananupura Rasal Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radhe Charanananupura Rasal Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radhe 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 Vraja Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyama 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 Radhe Vraja Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Sundara Vadana Kamala Dallalochana Banki Chitta Vanhari Sundara Vadana Kamala Dallalochana Banki Chitta Vanhari Mohana Bhangshi Bihari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radhe Mohana Bhangshi Bihari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radhe Shyama Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyama Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyama Radhe Shyama Radhe Shyama Radhe Shyam Radhe Vraja Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radhe Vraja Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Vrindavana mein Dhenu Charabe Gopi Jana Manohari Vrindavana mein Dhenu Charabe Gopi Jana Manohari Shri Govardhana Dhari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radhe Shri Govardhana Dhari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radhe Shyama Radhe Shyama Radhe Shyama Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyama Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyama Radhe Shyama Radhe Vraja Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radhe Vraja Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radha Krishna Mili Abado Gaura Rupaya Vatari Radha राधा कृष्ण मिली अबदो गौर रूप अवतारी कीर्तन ओ कीर्तन धर्म प्रचारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे कीर्तन धर्म प्रचारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम ओ राधे श्याम 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 राधे ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम तुम बिना मेरे और न कोई नाम रूप अवतारी तुम बिना मेरे और न कोई नाम रूप अवतारी चरणन में बलिहारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे चरणन में बलिहारी राधे श्याम 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 ओ राधे नारायण बलिहारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे नारायण बलिहारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे 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 ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 ओ राधे श्याम 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 ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे नारायण बलिहारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे नारायण बलिहारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम ओ राधे श्याम 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 राधे श्याम 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 राधे श्याम 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 राधे श्याम श्याम राधे 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 श्याम हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare. Vraja Janna Mana Sukhari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam, Radhe Vraja Janna Mana Sukhari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam, Oh Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam, Oh Radhe Shyam, Oh Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam, Oh Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam, Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo, Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Rupanugu Gauri Guru Varga Ki Jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Sudevi, I need your help. So that intensive workout during drum has caused me to have to run for a minute. So Sudevi is going to bring you close-up darshan. Don't take the phone off, just bring the whole thing.
Run.
Close-up darshan of Thakurji right now, and I'll be right back.
Darshan time.
And you can just,
Where are you going? Dandavat Pranamo Vaishnavas. As you can see, Krishna has a braid. He's doing the Vraja thing. Yeah, it's a bonus darshan. And then of course the babies. And also, I don't know if you guys all saw the background. Let me just fix this. There we go. That are really good friends from Austria, Manohar and Manmohini. Their mother, she's in her 80s. She made this. So she chants every day, he said. Well, he doesn't know if it's every day, but she chants. But she's not what you would call necessarily a devotee, but she's been inspired, and this is the 4th backdrop that she has made for Radha Vinodi Hariji. So, I think that's kind of amazing. I don't know if you can hear me because I'm not in the microphone, but there you go. Oh, someone says they can hear me. Good. How beautiful, huh? They're still wearing their darker colors because it's still like a darky moon outside, so. And then all of the beautiful lotus flowers in Vrindavan. Okay, Kishori Mohan Prabhu is on his way back. So let's see if I can set this up right again.
back a little bit.
Oops.
Dandavat pranam.
Oops. Went down too far. How's that?
I don't know.
Is that too far? Is that better?
Something.
Okay, Dandavat Pranama Vaishnavas.
Dandavat pranam. What were you talking about?
What do you mean, what was I talking about?
I heard you speaking and I missed it. Just about Thakurji.
Thakurji, yeah.
You know, right now it's lotus season. So for you can get a lot of lotuses for a good price here. And jasmine season, they're beautiful.
Vrindavan is the place of plenty for Thakurji Seva.
Oh yeah, everything for Thakurji, every shop, it's like all centered on service to Thakurji. Like anywhere in the West, you don't go to a shop that's called a mukutwala, where they're making clothes, outfits, jewelry, and everything just for Krishna.
Or even oil perfumery shops.
Yes.
You know, they have certain oils, really cheap ones for people, and then they have the really nice ones set aside for worship. So they let you know, oh, these are everyday, this is for people, this is for Thakurji. So.
Yes, me too, Katie. I also love when I get to hear Sudevi
You hear
speak.
me all day. She doesn't mean it.
No, she's reading and sewing for Thakurji, and then she just shares her inspiration with me, and then I come and share what she shares with me to all of you. So I've been doing that for years.
Oh, thank you for your kindness and encouragement. It means the world to me. I just don't like being in front of the camera. It freaks me out.
Yes, many times in the past when we've been in any location, she's asked devotees to please turn off the camera so that she can flow. So I just somehow in my mind I'm doing, what do you call it? Manasi Seva. I see all of you here with me and we're questioning and discussing and doing Kirtan together, so it's just very happy. Can you make sure that door stays? Okay, take it.
It feels good, huh? The air.
Yeah, fresh air. So Debbie opened the windows because it rained. It got cool enough to be able to have the fresh air blowing through, and it's very nice and fresh and clean. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaye Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Nityanamine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Prabhishta Vishnupar, Ashtotara Shata Shri Srimad Shuddha Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Prabhishta Vishnupar, Ashtotara Shata Shri Srimad Shuddha Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And to all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of you who are present with us today, we offer our Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe 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 Shyam.
Radhe Shyam.
What?
The question came, do Gauranga actually have blue eyes? 2. The portrait painting I saw of him has brown eyes and tears. Sudevi, do you care to share?
Well, Srimati Radhika's eyes are bluish, so blackish they're bluish because they're always reflecting Krishna. And so, since Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu took her mood, her bhav, and also her bodily hue, that golden Gauranga, when I painted him, it was within that mood that he is Krishna, but in the mood trying to taste those bhavs of Srimati Radhika, always having Krishna in his heart, his mind, and his vision. So that was my meditation. I don't know which legitimate picture you saw of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, but I only go by what I've heard, in that he's taken on her mood, her kanti, her bhav. So everything about her is a reflection of her love of Krishna, including the color of her eyes. So that was the mood, and it's only a splash of blue. It's supposed to be so dark that it's bluish.
See, from what I have seen, when I see him, his eyes are bluish, and so that's what they are.
Who asked that?
Sachinandan Gaurahari.
Who asked that?
Anjali.
Oh, yeah. Could they hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
No one said they couldn't hear you.
Okay.
Okay, so all together, I'm going to lead Chaito Darpana Marjana, and all can repeat. So now that we've done it a couple days, I'm going to say a few words together, and hopefully we can all follow. This is the first verse of Sri Shikshashtakam by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, glorifying Harinam Sankirtan. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritashvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Shri Krishna
Sankirtanam.
Okay. That is the first verse of Sri Shikshashtakam. Yes.
What happened?
Okay. Ramya Devi Dasi. Hey, your name changed from Devi Dasi Ramya to Ramya Devi Dasi. Okay, maybe she wants us to say it like that. You were also supposed to be chanting that as well. Oh, thank you, Rudra, for posting. So now we're going to chant first before entering into this beautiful, beautiful description of the pastimes of Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari by Sri Vrindavana Dasa Thakura. We will pray in the dust of their lotus feet, of the lotus feet of Vrindavana Dasa Thakura and the commentator, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, that may even a particle of their moods that are present within these pages manifest itself within our hearts. Now, we're going to chant this first verse of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. Are you ready? Ajanu Lambita Bhujo Kanakavadato Sankirtanaika Pitaro with a P. Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishvambharo Dvijabaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro. Thank you. That is the first verse of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, glorifying both Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, whose arms extend down to their knees, who have complexions like molten gold, and who inaugurated the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Their eyes resemble the petals of a lotus flower. They are the maintainers of the living entities, the best of the Brahmanas, the protectors of religious principles for this age, the benefactors of the universe, and the most merciful of all incarnations. So, we have come to shloka number 2. After hearing so much proofs from the Vedic scriptures about their glories, their pastimes, their appearance, who these personalities are, and what they have come to give, Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Now we are coming to the second shlok of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. O my Lord, you are eternally existing in the past, present, and future, yet you are the son of Sri Jagannath Mishra. I offer my repeated obeisance unto you along with your associates, your devotee servants, your sons, your disciples. Okay, there's parentheses here. Your Goswami disciples or the process of devotional service, such as congregational chanting of the holy name. Sabhrityaya, Saputraya. Putraya means children, but we don't know that he has. We know that he doesn't have any children direct, but his disciples, his followers are his children. And your consorts, who, according to regulative principles, refer to Vishnupriya, who is Bhu Shakti, Lakshmipriya, who is Shri Shakti, and Navadvip, which is Nila, Lila, or Durga. And according to devotional principles, refer to the two Gadadhars, Narahari, Ramananda, Jagadananda, and others. So, that here, Sakalatraya Te Namaha is referring to all of the Shaktis who appear with the Lord, because he always appears with all of his Shaktis, but they are taking different forms. We know that Lalita and Vishaka have manifested as Swarup Damodar Goswami and Rai Ramananda. Lalita Vishakha Sakhi. Srimati Radhika has manifested as Gadadhar Pandit. Jagadananda, Narahari also are gopis of Vrindavan. But in Gaur Lila, they have manifested in these forms. Navadvip Dham is a manifestation of Nila or Lila or Durga, interestingly enough. And then you have Vishnu Priya, who is Bhu Shakti, and Lakshmi Priya, who is Shri Shakti. Bhu Shakti means earth itself, and Lakshmi Priya is Shri Shakti, who is Lakshmi Devi herself. So here's the purport of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And it's not very long, but we'll see how long it takes us to get through it. In the second verse of the auspicious invocation, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is addressed as follows. He is the absolute truth, existing in the past, present, and future, and therefore he is eternal. I offer my obeisance to Sri Gaur Sundar, the son of Jagannath, along with his servants, sons, consorts, and associates. The word Jagannath Sutta is singular and so refers only to Sri Gaur Sundar. Jagannath Mishra's other son, Sri Vishwarup or Shankararanya Swami. Did you know that that was Vishwarup's sannyas name? Shankararanya Swami. Is not referred to herein, as Sri Vishwarup took sannyas in his childhood and had no disciples in the renounced order. So the fact that this pranam is mentioning disciples and followers and all of this, then it can only refer to the son of Jagannath Mishra known as Sachinandan Gaurahari or Vishwambhara. Jagannath Sutaya Cha. Therefore, the latter two adjectives of this verse, Sakalatraya and Swaputraya, are not applicable to Vishwarup. This is the older brother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One may question how the word Saputraya can be applied to Sri Gaur Sundar, his children, Saputraya. In answer to this, it is to be understood that the Lord's renunciant Goswami disciples are accepted as his sons, and his householder disciples are accepted as his servants. The renunciate sannyasis who belong to the Achyuta Gotra are considered the Lord's sons. So if we have been initiated and given this lineage, Achyuta Gotra, would that include us as the sons of Gaurahari? Then we would all be children of God, which we are. In the beginning of his Upadeshamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami has established his followers as Tridandi Sannyasis. They are actually the Lord's own family members. Sri Achyuta Prabhu, the son of Advaita Acharya, is the founding forefather of the Achyuta Gotra. So here's some interesting history. We've been mentioning this Achyuta Gotra, and here Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada gives some history to where this Gotra or family lineage name comes from. Sri Achyuta Prabhu, the son of Advaita Acharya, is the founding forefather of the Achyuta Gotra, and he is therefore addressed as Achyutananda. The followers of the two Prabhus, Sri Nityananda and Sri Advaita, are the servants of their Lord, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. According to regulative principles, the consorts of Sri Gaur Narayan are Vishnu Priya, who is Bhu Shakti, Lakshmi Priya, who is Shri Shakti, and Sri Navadvip Dham, which is Nila, Lila, or Durga. According to devotional principles, the consorts of Sri Gaur Govinda are Sri Gadadhar Pandit, Sri Gadadhar Das, Sri Narahari, Sri Jagadananda, Sri Vakreshwar, Sri Ramananda, Sri Rup Sanatan, and other Goswamis. Consorts meaning in the Shakti, the form of Shakti. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami has written in his Sri Caitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7:14. One of them is Mahaprabhu and the other two are Prabhus. These two Prabhus serve the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. So here we have an interesting breakdown of the meanings of these names. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada goes quite deeply into it, that this is not any ordinary thing. We should understand that the Shaktis of the Lord are unlimited, manifold. And they also manifest in so many different ways. What is Shakti? What is potency? If you were to describe the sun, what are the qualities of the sun? Well, you can describe its shape as being round. That's a quality. Then you can describe its light. It is brilliant and bright and brings light throughout the solar system and beyond. Then you can describe the heat. It also has the characteristic of being hot. And the qualities of the sun, that it gives life, nurtures. It also helps to create the weather and move the tides. It has such a pull and gravitational attraction on the earth, helps it to maintain its orbit and its spin. You can, if you're talking from that perspective, we can talk about the other perspectives at another time. We're just talking about it from these characteristics. I'm giving an example here. So many different characteristics of the sun which help to define what the sun is. Those characteristics, in essence, are the Shaktis or the potencies of the sun. In the same way, the Supreme Lord has unlimited Shaktis or unlimited energies, and they are manifested in so many different ways. And so here we see that one of these Shaktis is manifest in the form of his Dham, Navadvip, which is Nila, Lila, or Durga. One thing I find interesting here is that those who had received sannyas were considered the sons, and those who were the householder devotees were considered the servants. So this is quite an interesting thing as well. I will need to do some more research into why, or maybe one of you knows, why the sannyasi followers or disciples are referred to as sons and the householder disciples are referred to as servants. The only thing I can consider at the moment is that those who wholeheartedly follow without any attachment or bondage in this world, they have completely surrendered and submitted, and they are considered like the direct representatives. They are carrying that, literally, the baton of their transcendental father in that sense. And they go from the homes of one householder to the next, and the duty of those householders is to serve those sons, to hear from them, to serve them, to honor them, to worship them. So, we actually have time to go to verse 3. Avatirno sakarunyo parichino sarishvaro Shri Krishna Caitanya Nityanando Dvo Bhrataro Bhaje. I worship the two brothers, Sri Krishna Caitanya and Sri Nityananda, who have descended in this world as the supreme controllers. They have appeared in covered forms as the embodiments of mercy. Covered forms means they are like hidden avatars. Why are they hidden? Because they have come in the mood of devotees. Usually when the Lord appears, you know it. When Narasimha Bhagavan appeared, it was quite clear. he was just destroying thousands and millions of demons, protecting the devotees in such a ferocious form. But the devotees' hearts were satiated, satisfied, seeing this amazing, beautiful form, and the demons were frightened. So everyone knew, yes, this is the Supreme Lord. When Varahadev first appeared out of the nostril of Lord Brahma, he wasn't sure what it was, but when he manifested a form the size of the entire sky, went up into the sky and did the first most amazing swan dive in history, putting his hooves like this forward and diving into the Garbhodak ocean, dividing the Garbhodak ocean in essence, and going to the very depths to rescue the earth. Everyone knew this is Bhagavan. And he fought Hiranyaksha, they knew this is Bhagavan. Matsya Bhagavan appeared and performed the amazing task of rescuing all of the species and the Vedas. And he kept them during the universal floods, kept them afloat, and then guided them finally to any safe place where everything continued again. Kurma avatar. These are forms of Bhagavan, and everyone is directly, succinctly aware. Sri Ram. They were aware. He is Bhagavan. Vaman Dev. Bhagavan. Krishna in Vrindavan? Not. Krishna in Dwarka? Absolutely. Sachinandan Gaurahari, Nityananda Prabhu? Hidden. Krishna Varnam, Tvasha Krishnam. Krishna himself, but not looking like Krishna. So, he's the hidden avatar. Nityananda Prabhu is also non-different from Baladev, but hidden, because they are hidden in the forms of devotees. They are those self-same Krishna and Balaram, but not only is their mindset, their bhav, that of a devotee, they're also appearing as a devotee. And yet, some devotees have realized and seen in all Shastra that these are those same personalities, and so they're providing the proofs. They're hidden, but still they are somehow detected. They have appeared in covered forms as the embodiments of mercy. So this purport by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada says, the word Paritchino indicates that the spiritual pastimes of the Swayam Rup, or the original form of the Supreme Lord, and his Swayam Prakash, or first expansion, that is Krishna and Balaram, are full of spiritual variegatedness. Their spiritual pastimes are full of spiritual variegatedness. Shri Gaur Nityananda or Shri Krishna Balaram are non-different, yet they have accepted two forms as Swayam Rup and Swayam Prakash. One thing our Srila Prabhupada said when he was describing why he installed Krishna Balaram here, he said it was to show the world that Gaur Nityananda are non-different from Krishna Balaram, that they are the same. And it is due to the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that this holy name has been spread throughout the world. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, to show that there's no difference between the two, he has established Krishna Balaram here in Vrindavan. You can see it in his own words. Maybe someone can post that quote, if you can find it. So they have accepted two forms as Swayam Rup and Swayam Prakash. Swayam Rup means he himself, that is Krishna. Ete Changsakala Pungsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And Ramadimurti Shukalani Yamena Tishthan Nanavataram Akaru Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam. This is about Krishna, the supreme origin of everything else, the supreme cause of everything else, and the source of everyone and everything else. The prime cause of all causes, that is Krishna in Vrindavan. His first expansion, this is Swayam Prakash. Prakash means own, Swayam means own, Prakash means manifestation. So his first manifestation, from his right side it is said, meaning has a particular nature. That is Vishnu Tattva. His first expansion is known as Baladev Prabhu. Brajendra Nandan Jay Shachi Suto Hoiloshe. That same, self-same, original Krishna himself has manifested in this world as the son of Mother Sachi and Balaram. That first manifestation, the original Baladev Prabhu, Swayam Prakash, has manifested in this world as Nityananda Prabhu. Balarama Hoilo Nitai. Bhataro means the two brothers. Srimad Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu did not play the roles of seminal brothers. Did not play the roles of seminal brothers, meaning they didn't come from the same mother's womb. In order to establish that there is no difference between the pastimes of the Swayam Rup and Swayam Prakash, the Transcendentalists address them as brothers out of spiritual consideration. In order to establish that there is no difference between the pastimes of the Swayam Rup and Swayam Prakash, the Transcendentalists address them as brothers out of spiritual consideration. So technically, Nityananda Prabhu is not the brother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For some, this might be, what? I always thought they were brothers. They are brothers, eternally, as Krishna and Balaram. And their mood, their relationship, as Gaur Nitai, is also like this. In fact, Nityananda Prabhu was here in Vrindavan, searching everywhere. What was he saying? He was calling out for Krishna. What was he saying? First person who writes it, you will get a... Sudevi. Oh gosh, okay, wait, what can you have?
I didn't know, so I'm quiet so anyone else can answer.
Okay, you will get a, what is it? A papaya smoothie. No one? Banana papaya smoothie with coconut water. No. Rudra is just like Radha Dasyam for everything. He didn't hear the question. That's funny. Okay. What was Nityananda Prabhu calling when he was here in Vrindavan? What was he searching for, and what words were coming from his mouth when he was calling out? Come on. For a mango smoothie? Good answer, Rudra. Oh. Kotai Kanai. Very good. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Gurudev said that is the only problem. In this world there is no problem. There's only one. What is that problem? Where is Krishna? So Nitai was here in Vrindavan, going from person to person, animal to animal, tree to tree, looking for Krishna. Where is Krishna? Kotai Kanai, Kotai Kanai. And then he heard that voice. It told him, your Kanai has already manifested there in Navadvip Dham. So immediately he left and ran there. But then he decided, if he's really my Kanai, he will know, he will sense my presence and he will find me. So he hid in the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya. And Mahaprabhu said, one great personality, one great Vaishnava has come here. And he sent his devotees, go find him, bring him to me. They went searching everywhere, but they couldn't find him. Finally, Mahaprabhu said, okay. He got up and he brought them all directly to the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya. And I won't tell any more of the detail because it is just mind-blowing and chilling how beautiful, how amazing their meeting is. So Nityananda Prabhu was calling out, where is Krishna? So there's no difference between their pastimes. And so those who are transcendentalists, they refer to Nitai and Gauranga as brothers so that we can understand that there is no difference between them and Krishna and Balaram. Because really they are eternally brothers. Technically, in their pastime, in the Navadvip pastimes and in the pastimes of Nitai and Gauranga, Nityananda Prabhu is the disciple of Lakshmipati Tirtha. Harinam. And Diksha Mantra, he is the disciple of, or Shiksha of Madhavendra Puripad. So basically he's the god brother of Madhavendra Puripad, but he was quite young. So Madhavendra Puripad, the root of the Krishna Bhakti tree, Madhavendra Puri, he basically nourished him and gave him all association. So he's like his Shiksha Guru. So Nityananda Prabhu's Guru is Madhavendra Puri and Lakshmi Pati Tirtha. The Diksha Guru of Ishwar Puripad is Madhavendra Puri, and the Diksha Guru of Mahaprabhu is Ishwar Puri. So Mahaprabhu's grand Guru is Madhavendra Puripad, and his Choti god brother is Nityananda Prabhu. So from this perspective, Mahaprabhu would have to, if he's following proper etiquette, which he always did, would give so much honor, respect, and everything to Nityananda Prabhu as the god brother of his grand Guru. But Nityananda Prabhu had this mood that I am only the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood wasn't that you are my servant. Rather, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood was everyone should serve Krishna. So in this way, acting in the role of Jagat Guru, he engaged not only Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas and so many of those who were technically his seniors in the service, also Advaita Acharya, who was also very, very senior to him. So many came before Mahaprabhu to help establish the platform for Mahaprabhu's descent, including his parents. This always happens when the Lord appears. He always tells the demigods and so many others, you should appear in Navadvip Dham before my appearance, or appear in Vrindavan Dham before my appearance, and prepare, set the scene. And then the Lord appears and performs his amazing, miraculous, beautiful pastimes. And Nityananda Prabhu was not always fully controlled by Mahaprabhu. He's Avadhut. We know that he took Mahaprabhu's Ekadanda, which Mahaprabhu kept in his care. Mahaprabhu received this one danda, which represents monism. Nityananda Prabhu took it and broke it in 3 pieces and threw it in the river. Mahaprabhu was like, that's my danda. He broke it in 3 pieces. But Nityananda Prabhu had a reason for doing so. Ek danda represents only singularity. The 3 danda represents something else. Those who are sannyasis and carry a danda, that danda is their Thakurji. Just like Radha Krishna Mahaprabhu are our Thakurji, that danda they worship. And that danda represents so many different things. But it also represents the Supreme Lord, his Shaktis, which include Jiva, and the relationship between them of love and affection. It represents so many different things. So Nityananda Prabhu broke that danda, threw it in the river. So he has this mood, you can say, that can also not. Like he stopped Mahaprabhu when Mahaprabhu was calling for his chakra to kill Jagai and Madai. He said, no, no. And then he told him, you have not come for this. So we know that in the pastimes of Sri Ram, Lakshman was the younger brother, and Ram instructed him as the king and as his older brother that you should bring Sita to the forest and leave her there. Lakshman was completely devastated by this order, but he had to follow it. So our Srila Gurudev said, after that he didn't want to come as the younger brother again. So in the pastimes of Krishna, he was Balaram, older brother. In the pastimes of Sachinandan Gaurahari, he's also older. Nityananda Prabhu is senior to him. He also came as Nityananda Prabhu. Sorry, I think it was Nandanacharya. Please forgive me. You know what's really, how do you say, refreshing about, I'm not a guru or anything, so I can make mistakes and then be caught out making a mistake and then admit my mistake and beg forgiveness for it. And that's a little bit of a refreshing thing. So thank you for that correction. Yes, there was a house of Nandanacharya, not Chandrasekharacharya. So please forgive me for that. So now we have come to 8 o'clock. So Sri Caitanya Bhagavat ki jai. Next time we start on text 4. Shri Vrindavana Dasa Thakura ki jai. Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. Pati Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. So, one thing I just wanted to say quickly, a little bit more about Akshaya Tritiya. Akshaya Tritiya, it is said that this is the day that Lord Brahma created the universe, gave shape to the universe. So on this particular day, this time period, it is considered extremely auspicious for all of us. It is also the day that they open the doors to Badri Narayan in the Himalayas. And at the same time, it is the day that they start this Chandan grinding for Jagannath, and they start building his chariot. So many, it's the day that they inaugurated Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. That was after the breakup of the Gaudiya Math. So many separated and went in different directions. And our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, along with many of his godbrothers, including our Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, they established and inaugurated Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. So it is dangerous to lump everyone into the same category. Some were going in an opposite direction from the teachings of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and also doing so many nefarious activities. And so our Param Gurudev, he said, oh, it is like we have put our hands in wet stool. If it were dry, it would be easy to get off, but we have put our hands in wet stool. Now we require to clean this off by being somehow connected to that. So there was a lot of cleaning work that needed to be done, and they went and established this Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. So many others established so many different mutts, different temples, separate from the one where there was deviation. And so this is also setting a precedent, establishing a precedent, that there is no requirement to remaining within a situation where one feels strongly within their heart that the teachings of their Gurudev, the conceptions of their Gurudev, are being slighted or twisted or manipulated, and where all kinds of simple activities are going on and being covered up or done in the name of bhakti. So we see that our Guru Varga have also separated, and Gurudev told me personally, with Sudevi present and Manohar and Manmohini Didi in Munich. It was his last, just after that festival, in his last festival in Italy. He said when it was no longer favorable, my Guru Maharaj had to leave the institution of his Gurudev and start his own society when he could no longer reconcile. And he made so many temples, and he named different places throughout India. And he said also Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, our Srila Prabhupada, when it was no longer favorable, he also had to leave the institution of his Guru Maharaj, physically, when he could no longer reconcile, and he had to start his own society. And he made so many temples throughout the world, in the ocean, on the islands, in the mountains, in so many places. And he said, and even myself at such an elderly age, when I could no longer reconcile, when it was no longer favorable, even I had to leave the institution of my Guru Maharaj and start my own society. And he just gave me one of those deep, deep gazes. And Sudevi and Manohar Prabhu, they were like, you understand what Gurudev is saying? There's no obligation to maintain allegiance to something which is not favorable for the development of Guru Nishtha. So, coming back to Akshaya Tritiya. So, the day that Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti was established was this day. So many transcendental things are begun on this day. It is a day for resolution. That from today, Gurudev said, don't think from tomorrow. He said tomorrow may never come, or tomorrow never comes, because you just say tomorrow, tomorrow, and we experience that here quite often. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. 1 month goes by, tomorrow. It doesn't mean much. Gurudev said, don't think tomorrow. From now, from today, from just now. He said, if you make any resolution, spiritual or bhakti, what is favorable for bhakti on this day, it is sure to be successful. So I will give this much more time, this much more energy to Guru, Gauranga, Krishna. In whatever way it is, we just make some resolution on this day, then we should have hope that by the blessings of this special time, Akshaya Tritiya, that it will be successful. Also, Srila Gurudev spoke about mundane or modern technology. That actually it tends to bring people away from bhakti and away from Krishna. So he spoke that the sages of the past, although they had so much more capability than we have now, right? We have heard about vimanas. By the power of one's mind, they can travel at the speed of mind to any place in the universe. When Sri Ramachandra came back on the vimana from Lanka, Lanka to Ayodhya, at that time, it had this special capacity that however many needed to go on, it would expand to accommodate all of them. We don't have these kinds of technologies. Our weapons and our aircraft are quite blunt compared to those. By mantra, they could control the atom. By mantra, by mind, they could make Brahmastra, Pashupatashtra, this one, that one. They could direct it into a very fine point or in a very explosive point. So they had all sorts of different capacities. As we heard when Sri Ram picked up that blade of grass and gave it Brahmastra power and threw it toward that bird that was trying to scratch Sita. So Ram, by the power of mantra, he threw this. So they had so much capability. But the sages of the past recognized that so much of these modern technologies were not favorable, that it would actually distract from Krishna and from bhakti and from the real nature of the soul, which is to love Krishna. So instead of presenting all of this, they actually chose simple living and high thinking and presented that to the world. And we see what's coming as a result of all of this modern technology. So much of it is good, and it can be used for good, but generally you see that demons like to promote it and take advantage of it, Gurudev said. It ends up becoming godless civilization. And what happens in a godless civilization? Well, today is also Parshuram Jayanti, the manifestation of Vishnu avatar as Parshuram, the Shakti Avesh. Well, 21 generations of very corrupt, demonic warlords, 21 generations needed to be cleaned up. And I'm not going to go into detail on this, but Parshuram did what he had to do. That was the form of the Lord for cleaning up all of these demonic personalities. And periodically he comes in to do such things as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam shajamyaham paritranaya sadhanam vinashaya cha dushkritam. To protect the devotees, to annihilate the demons, to re-establish the principles of dharma, that means sanatan dharma, worship of the Lord, and to remove adharma, which is only based on the demonic mentality of exploiting the environment for my own enjoyment and exploiting everyone else for my own material enjoyment. So our Srila Gurudev said that they could have, the sages easily could have manifested and given so much material technology to the world, but rather they chose to help. Seeing the condition of the world, they chose to help. Like they came together at the time, just in the beginning of Kali Yuga. At the end of Dwapara Yuga, the beginning of Kali Yuga, foreseeing what would happen. And they came together, thousands and thousands, for what? The benefit of the world. What is the best thing? What is the best thing that will be beneficial for all of the jivas in this world? Savai pungsang paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje. For all of humanity, the best paradharma, supreme occupation, will be to develop bhakti for Krishna. So then manifested Srimad Bhagavatam. So our Srila Gurudev mentioned these points, and his main thing was we should come together in terms of bhakti to represent pure bhakti, to represent the truth, the absolute truth. This is the duty of every selfless welfare worker of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of the Gaudiya Sampradaya, is to share the teachings of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, of Krishna, of our Guru Varga, for the benefit of all. Only awakening bhakti will be truly beneficial. There is no material process that can remove all material problems. Only a spiritual process. What is that? Param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Only the chanting and glorifying the names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord in relationship with His devotees. This is the real panacea, the real cure, the real Maha Oshadhi, the real, as our Srila Prabhupada would say, vaccination for all material problems that will make everyone happy forever. On that note, happy forever, we're going to do a little birthday flower shower. Sudevi? Okay, so today is the birthday of Radhika Ahuja, the mother of Puja. And we have known her for a very long time. She was also teaching in New Braj, very nice devotee, very beloved daughter of our Srila Gurudev.
Gurudev actually said she has very beautiful eyes.
Yeah.
She's one of our very dearest best friends for so many years, and we're really excited that we get to do this remembrance, how Srila Gurudev would bless the Vaishnavas for her, because it's just so nice.
Anjali, that quote's from Srila Prabhupada, just to make sure there. I'll have to find the original quote.
Happy birthday, Radhika.
Okay, Radhika, happy birthday. So we're gonna, if you're there, hopefully you're there. If you're not,
she might be there later.
You come later. So I will request that you please sit on your knees in the midst of thousands of Vaishnavas. And all you Vaishnavas, and those who don't think that you're Vaishnavas, please gather your flowers. And Radhika and all of us, we should see that our Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, we got lotus flowers. Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, that he is present and he is leading this offering. Okay. So, everyone please repeat after me. Mangalam bhavatu.
Mangalam bhavatu.
Guru Nishta bhavatu.
Guru Nishta bhavatu.
Krishna bhaktir bhavatu.
Krishna bhaktir bhavatu.
Radha dasyam bhavatu.
Radha dasyam bhavatu.
Our Srila Gurudev would then say to the birthday girl in this case, may you be happy in this life. May you be happy in any future life. May you be happy all the way into perfection forever.
Jai, Jai
So,
Radhika.
Radhika ki jai.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Radhika. Oh, one more thing. Rudra Prabhu, he was not paying attention, and when I asked my question, he just writes Radha Dasyam.
He gave the right answer.
Our Gurudev
He
said,
knew
if you
that.
ever don't know the answer to any question that I ask, if you just say, I don't know, all I know is I want to be the Palyadasi of Srimati Radhika, he said, then your answer is always right. So your answer was right there, Rudra Prabhu. So there you go. Okay, so everyone please send Radhika your well wishes and your blessings. She's a very sincere devotee, and wow. You know when you hear that Krishna has lotus-like eyes, is it the shape or the color? Look at How beautiful that is. Can you see that? Or maybe it's like this. Okay. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Gaura Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Vishajit Gaura Hari ki
Jai,
Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki
Jai,
Radha Ramana Ju ki
Jai,
Giriraj Maharaj
Ki
ki
Jai,
Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande,
Hari Hari Bol.
Govinda
Damodar Madhavete, Govinda Damodar Madhavete, Govinda Damodar Madhavete, Govinda Damodar Madhavete, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe.
Shri Vino Bihari Ju ki
Jai
Jai Jai
Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Sham.
Gaura Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
So thank you all very much for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and to also be able to inspire each other on this Akshaya Tritiya for renewing our vows and for making resolutions that will be favorable for the endless increase of our bhakti,
Jai.
also for studying together Sri Caitanya Bhagavat.
And learning shlokas.
Learning shlokas, it's very exciting. So, also we'd like to express our greatest indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Srila Gurudev, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Radhe Radhe.
Radha Vinu Vihariju Sachinandana
Gaurahari ki jai. Jivadiyam Vadamani. Astamanyana kal milenge. Tatmorgen.
Ma Ashita Radhe
Radhe Radhe Sham. Jai Jiva Pavana. May we continue this kind of Sangha forever.
Haribo.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.